Hi guys, I want to show you guys how I make my cap, popularly known as fila, a lead bear side cap. I already draft and cut this, but I will explain how I cut it, and subsequent time I will make a video on how to cut this cap. First and foremost, you measure 12 inches from the beginning of the cap, and then you tint it until you have 9 inches, the slant part, which makes it 12 by 9 inches. 12 inches length, 9 inches slant. Cut out 3 pieces of it. 3 pieces of the slant part is what we're going to cut out. Then the remaining one is what we're going to join together to make the cover edge of our cap. So let's proceed to the machine and see how we join it. This is me joining the cap. I lay the first part on the second one with 0.3 and I sew closely to the edge of the cap. While sewing it, take your time and make sure your work come out neat and clean. You don't have to rush about it. Like I said, I laid the first one on the second one with 0.3 and I sew close to the edge of it. The work will look nice, neat, you don't have to rush. So this is me taking the third part and joining it with it. Can you see? I did the same process, I lay it on it with 0.3 and I sew closely to the edge of the cap to give me a fine job, a very neat job. So please do well to follow, do well to share this video, do well to like and comment. Please, it goes a long way. We're just helping each other here. So this is me trying to finish the part. This is me trying to cover up the last part of it. We have to join both sides now together so we can have a round close work of it. So this is me taking my time to do that. And the measurement of this cap is 23.5. That is the head measurement of my client that I'm making this cap for. 23.5. So this place is a little bit dicey. You have to take your time. You don't have to rush about it to make sure everything aligns together and align properly well. So this is me. I took my time well and let's see the result of what we have been doing so far. Can you see? After we close up everywhere now, this is what we get. This is what we are having. This is what we are having, a perfect good job. So the next part is we have to open it up. Can you see? Just cut one part up so we can have a open work just like this. And can you see our design is slant? Our design is slant. The next step is to add our art stay, our interfacing. So I use art stay for my own cap, the art stay of it. So I use that stay, I double my art stay. But the length of this art stay I'm using, or I normally use, is 3.5 inches. That is 3.5. That is the wideness of it. Then I'll have to cut out like maybe 4 or 5 pieces of this because I'm going to double it to make the part thick and firm. This is me. I had to skip the video because of time, for the video not be too long. This is the gum I cut. I already iron it on the cap. I already gum it on the cap. So, and I doubled it also. Then this is the part where comes the design. Depending on what you want to use, maybe you want to rule a straight line, or you want to do another design, maybe kind of anyone you want to use. So for this video, I have other design I use, but for this video I'm making use of this straight line. All what you need to do is just to rule your line out to have a nice job After we roll it out, we proceed to the machine. Then we are going to sew on that line. We sew on the line. In case I don't think, maybe because of time I might skip that part, but it's something you can just do. You just sew on the line. You sew on the line, because this video is going to be a long video and it's going to be 2 times video. I'll be dropping the concluding part of it also. This is me. I already roll out my line, then I will go to the machine, I sew the line, and this is what I have. Look at, this is the part whereby you have to cut out your lining you want to use. Some people use Ankara fabrics to turn in the cap, while some people use senator material, but me, I love using lining. So it will make the work hard or thick. It will make the cap to be thick or hard. So this is me cutting my lining. And while cutting your lining, make sure you leave your sewing allowance. That means the lining you are cutting is more than the cap. The lining you are cutting is more than the cap. So this is it. Can you see that the lining is more than the cap? So I'll be dropping the part 2 of this video, which is going to be the concluding part. Have we join it and we come to the results. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. This is the part 2 of the video of our cap making. So after you cutting your lining with the cap, then you proceed to the machine and sew as seen in the video. From the edge of the cap to where I go my interfacing, which is the outstay, is about 0.7. So then you sew half of an inch, that's 0.5, on the cap and the lining. The lining is already at the front side of the cap. Then you sew 0.5 on the cap, just like this. You sew 0.5 on the cap because we have to turn the lining. We have to use the lining to turn in the cap. So this is it. You sew 0.5 of it. That is half of an inch with the lining as shown like this. Then after that, you top stitch on the lining. After cutting out our lining from removing our cap from the lining, so you sew 0.5 of an inch. Then you proceed on top stitching on the cap. After top stitching, this is the result you are going to have. Can you see? This is the result we are going to have. Then once we are done with this, the next part is to get our head measurement. This is it. Fold it so we can have like 2 layers like this. Then is to get our head measurement. And if you remember in the part 1 of the video, I told you guys that our head measurement is 23.5. So you take your tape and divide 23.5. So you divide your head measurement. This is it, from the mid part to get 23.5. Then you after getting your desired head measurement, this is it. You chalk it. You have to confirm. You don't have to rush. One thing about you making a perfect job, you don't have to rush about it. You just have to take your time. You take your time to do it. You don't have to rush. Then after getting your head measurement, you have to make sure you proceed to the machine rather. Then you have to make sure that while joining it, it falls in the midpoint. Look at it, the sewing, they are aligned to each other. Because I always take my time at this part to cross check my work. Make sure the midpoint, they are aligned to each other. that is your cap aligned with each other to have a good work and a good finishing. As you can see, I am sewing on the part I chalked out for the head measurement. The line I made, the straight line I made. So this is me. This is what I was actually saying. Can you see the line? They are meeting at the middle, like there is perfectly placed. It is well placed. Then after that, you open your cap. You can proceed to the ironing table. You iron it. Make sure you iron it to make sure that the work is smooth. Number one, and number two, it's laid very well. This is me after pressing it. I have to skip the video though. This is me after pressing it to the iron. Then this is me again turning the cap inside. I have to turn the cap inside. Can you see? This is it. I have to turn the cap inside. Just a nice work. I have to turn the cap inside. Then after turning the cap like this, I will top stitch at the, can you see? I will have to top stitch with 0.3 or 0.5, that means with half-inch stitches or 0.3 stitches. I have to top stitch round the cap. This is me top stitching around the cap. Make sure you take your time, you don't have to rush. Then after that, the next thing I have to do is I have to close the upper part of the cap. And if you watch closely, you will see that our lining is more than the cap. That was what I was trying to say in the part 1 of this video while I was cutting my cap with the lining. So your lining should be more than the cap, because later on we are still going to trim the lining out of the cap. So this is me. Can you see my lining is more than the cap? That means while I was cutting out the cap from the lining, I had to make sure that the lining is more than the cap for something like this, because after sewing on the upper part to hold the lining with the cap, we are still going to trim the lining out of the cap before we can make our cover head top. So can you see? This is it. This is what I was trying to say in the part 1 of the video. All you need to do is just trim it out, trim the lining out of the cap. Can you see? To have a perfect work. Please, if you haven't, please like the video, follow us for more. We'll be dropping more videos like this on how to make up, how to sew senator shirt and all that. So please like and follow and comment. We are done with the cap now. Can you see our cap is almost ready? This is the upper part of the cap, and the cap that my client gave me was not actually enough. Like, the measurement was not complete. It was not a complete measurement for a cap. So, but you know, as a fashion designer, you have to improvise. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure I get what is going to fit for my cap round. So I have to come up with this design. I have to cut out some piece out of what we cut out in the first time while we were making our video. Then I have to join it together to make sure I get the round circumference of the head of the cap that we're going to cover. Making sure I have a perfect round circumference. Can you see? This is me trying to place the cap on it so I can chalk out what I want to use for. What I want to use for my head. For my head, what is it called? For my head, for the cover of my head, or of the cap rather. So can you see? This is me trying to align so I could get a perfect round shape. Then after that, you will see if you check it out, like, okay, you've got your perfect round circumference. All what you need to do is chalk it out with 1/2 inch. Make sure that your round circumference is bigger than the cap, the round cap that you have. Making sure that your round circumference is bigger. Like, if you see what I do here, what I really chalked out is bigger than the cap itself. Is really bigger than the cap. What I chalked out is bigger than the cap. If you look closely, this is it, the round circumference of the cap. So what you need to do is cut it out on the bar lining, on the lining, and proceed to the machine to sew it round. Alright guys, welcome back for the concluding part of our cap making. The end of the part 2 that we made, you have to join the cap cover with the lining we cut. Then we trim out the lining so we can have our circumference, our round circumference of the head cover. Then you proceed to the machine and join them. That means you join your cap cover with the cap, just like what I'm doing here, because I have to skip the video. The videos is very long, so I have to skip some parts. I have to skip some part of the video. So this is me join the cap with the cap cover round, that is getting our round circumference of the cap. So this is the result. This is what we have. Can you see? I've already joined cover top of our cap with the cap. So what you need to do is you trim some parts. Then after trimming some parts, you proceed to the weaving machine and weave your work. To have a better finishing, you have to weave your work. So this is me weaving my work on my weaving machine. So you have to take your time. Then our cap is almost ready. So after weaving it, then we have to turn our cap to the front side, then we iron. But can you see? I have to take your time to weave it. Just weave your work. After weaving, look at what we have here. Can you see how neat our cap is? Very neat. After weaving it, look at how neat it is. So you don't have to pull off or wear off by the time our client is using the cap. So this is the result. Can you see? Then what you need to do is proceed to the ironing table and you iron your cap very well, so you can have the gaiters on there. You have to iron your cap very well. You have to press your cap very well. So can you see? This is the result. Can you see how beautiful our cap is? Our cap is already ready. So you have to take your time to iron them. Iron your work very well, and our cap is ready. So you can. But I want us to see the result of our cap. When you see the results, look at the result of our cap. Can you see perfect work? Can you see results? So please, thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like, follow and share.